Hello, tech friends, and thank you for tuning in to Emerging Technologies in Business, where we take a deep dive into different technologies that are impacting businesses today and in the very near future. I'm your host, Brock Riney, and this podcast is brought to you by Kincannon XR. Let's talk tech. And today we're going to be talking about IoT, or the Internet of Things, more specifically speaking in the agricultural world. So we know that the world's population is growing, and it's growing at an exponential rate. And by 2050, we're looking at the population of the Earth being at 9.9 billion people. That's a lot of food and a lot of things that we have to contribute to this society. So with that being said, most farmers right now are looking to adapt their farms from being the stereotypical farms that we've seen for hundreds and thousands of years and growing them into becoming smart farms. So we're very fortunate today that we have a fantastic guest from FarmRaise, and is Jayce Hafner. Their job here and what they contribute to the world of science and technology and agricultural world that we live in is they help people find grants and opportunities to change those farms from the stereotypical things that we know today to the smart farms that they can be in the future. So Jayce, I want to tell you, first of all, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you. How's everything going in your world today?
Brock, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to be on the show. And FarmRaise has been so much fun. Getting to work with small and mid-sized farmers every day to help them connect with funding opportunities to grow their farms into more efficient, profitable enterprises is so rewarding. And personally, I find it to be really meaningful work because I grew up on a small farm in Virginia. And that childhood experience is what really grounds me and also motivates me in my work at FarmRaise.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here today. And for those that don't know, I know I gave a brief description of it and everything in that aspect, but can you give me just a quick overview of what Smart Farm brings to the table, or FarmRaise, oh my gosh, FarmRaise brings to the table?
Yes. FarmRaise is a platform that makes it really easy for farmers to connect with and apply for grants and low-cost loans to make their businesses more profitable and more sustainable. There are thousands of grants, loans, cost share programs in the United States alone that farmers can access year over year to grow their farms. But figuring out which programs farmers are eligible for and then navigating stacks of jargon-packed bureaucratic paperwork can be a nightmare, and it can also take farmers days to figure all this out. And so we've simplified this into a direct 15-minute process in which we can tell a farmer if they're eligible for one of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's flagship grant programs and then apply them for this program in about 15 minutes. That's how long it takes a farmer to fill out their portion of the application, send it to us, and then we can send it on to the USDA for them. This is a process that I actually went through on our Angus beef cattle farm in Virginia. And I was in grad school at the time. I was actually trying to reapply us for a grant that we had participated in when I was a teenager. And as an adult going through the application process, I was just floored by some of the language and the many forms required. I just found the bureaucracy to be absolutely complex. And what I thought myself, and also what I've heard from so many, hundreds of farmers now that we've interviewed for our needs finding, we just want a TurboTax for farm funding. We want to make it really easy to match with and access the resources that are best for our business so that we can get back to doing what we do best, which is being outside and actually working the land.
Well, and I know farmers don't work an 8-to-5 job like the rest of us, right?
No,
so
they don't.
They're working from sunrise to sunset. So I could only imagine how much adding that bureaucracy on top of everything else has just got to be something that makes one pull their hair out all the time.
Well, it's absolutely right. Farming is such a mentally and physically exhausting profession. And there's always something that comes up in the day that you don't expect. An animal gets sick, or the weather changes, the market prices change. Maybe your fence breaks and your cattle are in a neighbor's pasture, but there's always something unpredictable. And at the end of the day, there's just very little bandwidth, time, or tools to deal with the finance side of the business, which is so core to the success of the business. And that's that's why when we think about innovating on the farm, we've zeroed in on finance as the core lever to up-level the business's health and also the success of the farmer operator.
What have you seen as of late as a technological change, just because of your industry knowledge, with everyone moving towards the smart farming industry? Are you seeing a pattern or anything in that aspect?
I think it's wild to see, and also very exciting to see the industry and also farming community focus on soil health as a lever to increase farm profitability. And this is it's very this is a very earth science based approach to making your business more efficient and more profitable, and really investing in the microbial health of your soil. So increasing water retention, increasing organic matter in your soil. And there are all kinds of ways that farmers can do this and invest in their soil health through innovative practices like cover crops, planting crops over a field so that the field is not lying open and fallow during the winter, but it's also actually covered. You can also do this with rotational grazing practices. A lot of cattle farmers like my dad do those practices to invest in their soil health. And you're seeing these tech platforms emerging from soil health practices that are specifically focused on carbon sequestration, because that is an outcome of investing in soil health on the farm. Farmers can actually cycle carbon in the soil through investing in the microbial activity of their land. And it's really cool to see now that farmers have the opportunity to produce carbon credits that are then sold on these tech platforms. And big companies like BCG, Shopify are purchasing these carbon credits and using them to basically reduce their carbon footprint in an offsetting way. So that's kind of scratching the surface of the opportunities with soil health. But I think that's a really cool development you're seeing emerging in agriculture right now.
Completely agree. I've been seeing the same thing. Very specifically, when we're talking about soil health, is that a lot of farms and co-ops, they're looking at NPK sensors now in the world of IoT. It's to be able to tell how fertile your soil is going to be, what do we need to add. And the way I liken it is if you owned a pool, right? And you have to check what the pH balance is to make sure that everything is right, because if you don't do that right, the pool's not clear. If you don't do that right, the crops don't grow. And a lot of folks don't realize that there's so many more modernized tools these days that you can implement to make those things a reality. You no longer have to test by happenstance or chance. Like, there's a way to scientific this thing out. We can find a way to get to the end result. And I think that's great. And your company helps these folks go from where they were at today to where they could be tomorrow. Talk a little bit more about that. So let's say if I have a farm and I'm wanting to move from how I've been doing business for the last millennia, or hand to hand to hand, from family member to family member to family member, and it's time to make a change. Let's make this farm grow. Let's innovate. Let's change. Let's get the best that we can. What's the best first step to engage FarmRaise?
So the first thing that we do when we partner with farmers is we have farmers complete a quick 5-minute onboarding form in which we intake information about their operation, including some light, agronomic data, some equipment and financing data, and also some information on, essentially it's like a cap table of the farm, what stakeholders own what percent of that farm business. So we really map these qualities of the farm, and these insights go into a data lake of granular farm insights, essentially, that then we can use to aggregate opportunities that are specifically designed to suit the farmer that's coming in the door. Because on the other end, we've built this database now of over 1,000 funding programs that we can pull from and we can update as these funding programs change and open and close, and then we connect the farmer directly with them based on the information they've shared with us. And this is FarmRaise today, but we have a much broader vision for the company, because the insights the farmer is giving us will enable us to connect them with more resources beyond grants, thinking about opportunities to join with other farmers that are looking to access a resource, say it's seeds at the growing season. And every year farmers are negotiating to purchase seeds, and often in the same geographical context, but they're doing these negotiations in isolation. So what I get really excited about is the opportunity to pool aggregated groups of farmers to collectively negotiate for better farm resources, whether it be seeds, whether it be fertilizers, which as you've seen, the cost of fertilizer has gone up by 40% in the past year. It's been absolutely wild. Or they could bargain for something like finance, like a loan for their farm as a group. And so through leveraging these insights, we can help farmers achieve better outcomes collectively than we can individually. So that is something that we are really building toward, is this concept of a modern digitized farmer cooperative. And farmers, of course, can opt in to doing this. We will not automatically do that for them. But if they want to pool and aggregate, their anonymized information to join new, opportunities like this, that's something we can very much get behind, because we just want to empower the small and mid-sized farmer to be competitive in today's market environment. And we believe that competitive edge can often come through collective negotiation.
I think it's always been that ideal of the power of many voices is always stronger than the power of one, right?
Yes.
So together you can always achieve more. If you had to throw one thing out that you're seeing that farmers are not doing right now as far as technology is concerned, what would it be? What would be the one thing that you're saying that you're seeing the people who are super successful doing, and the ones who maybe aren't finding that path quite as much have yet to take on?
Yeah, there's so many exciting technologies that enable small businesses to track their cash flow so that they can optimize their taxes and just really have a handle on benchmarking into their day-to-day expenses. Farming, when it comes to tracking expenses and having one sort of financial operating system, it's a bit like the Wild West. Most farmers actually have their own spreadsheet they've created, or it's literally pen and paper, or there's no,
right?
yeah, exactly, like that notebook you just held up. There's no system at all. And this is because there has not, like we talked about before, it's just really hard to find time and energy in the day to deal with the finance side of the operation. And the tools that are out there have not really resonated in a big way with the farming community. And the existing tools like QuickBooks are not specifically designed for the farm. And so there's so much opportunity to innovate in that space and make it easy for farmers to have a clear handle on their business and to be able to plan, like you said, for a sustainable transition to the next generation, to grow that business as much as you can in your lifetime, and then make sure it's continuing to grow in the right hands.
I love it. I think that's good. So other couple things I noticed. So there is a quick little survey that you can take on your website that allows farmers to know what they're eligible for and what they're not eligible for. Can you give me just a quick rundown of that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so this is actually a way that farmers, whether or not they choose to join FarmRaise, can understand the types of grants that they may be a good fit for. And I say maybe because when they take the survey, we match them with grants that seem to fit the eligibility requirements of these programs. But ideally, the farmers would go a level deeper too, and just make sure that grant is the right fit for them at the right time. So what we produce for farmers is a menu of options that show them how much they can get for each USDA grant program that in the results, and then the timeline for getting that grant application in the door, and then some high-level data on those programs, because our goal is to really aggregate the top funding programs for farmers and make it really easy for them in less than 5 minutes to put their information in and then get a menu of options that could be a good fit for their operation moving forward. And that menu is often the jumping off point that farmers take with us. They come into these meetings saying, hey, I see I'm eligible for $3 million in grants. Which one should I prioritize this year? Because, there's a certain stacked ranking that farmers can take in terms of their grant application approach that is often, right for them. And every operation is unique. And that's why I think part of the FarmRaise mission is to empower the farmer with a one-on-one farm funding advisor. We have actual people, we're a product-driven company, but we have people behind the product that work with the farmer to make sure that every grant they choose is right for them in their unique situation.
And of course, they can't purchase land with a grant, but they can work on innovation. And I think that's the biggest key there, is that they can change the farm that they have today into the farm of tomorrow, and you can help them bridge that gap and take away all the bureaucracy and all the craziness of the paperwork that needs to happen simply by reaching out to you. It seems like a pretty well match made in heaven, in my opinion, Jayce. If people haven't reached out to you yet, how would they go ahead and reach out to you now? What's the best way to do so?
Yeah, they can come to FarmRaise at www.farmraise.com. And we are also always looking for partners, whether farmers to join our community. We now have about 12,000 farmers on our platform, or agribusiness partners who are looking to bring funding for sustainable agriculture to the farmers and their supply chains. And people who want to connect directly with me can also reach me at Jayce@farmraise.com, whether that's for partnership questions, or if they're a farmer that wants to learn more about FarmRaise, my door is open, and I look forward to speaking with anyone who's interested about what we're building together.
And resumes can go there too, right, Jayce? So it sounds like you're openly hiring at the moment, right?
We are growing our team. We're currently hiring full stack engineers, and our team has a value of farmer obsession. And what that means, if you're farmer obsessed, it does not mean that you have to have grown up on a farm or had direct agricultural experience, but we are looking for teammates who are actively curious about small farms, who are interested in bringing regenerative agriculture into the fullest sense of, the potential there, and who want to work with us to build a product that transforms farmers' lives. So we're looking for farmer obsessed teammates, and specifically full stack engineers to join our growing team.
Love it. Well, if you are looking for that type of role, Jayce is the person to reach out to. If you want more information about FarmRaise, she's already dropped those information. We'll have that below in the comment as well. If you want to reach out to me for any sort of IoT questions that you have, please don't hesitate. You can also find further episodes here on the show at kincanonxr.com or on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. We're on there, I promise you. But with that, Jayce, I just got to tell you, thank you for your time. I really, really do appreciate it. I think that we just knowledge some more souls for the day, which is the best thing that we could have done.
Thank you so much, Brock. This is a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you guys next time.